Hey everyone, what is coaching? That's what we're going to be talking about today. If you'd like to hear more, keep listening. Welcome back to my channel, Dare to Trust, where I dare you to trust. And that's so important right now. I'm Davita. Today we're going to be talking about coaching. What is it? A lot of people don't know what coaching is, and it's not their fault because it's kind of new. We talk about therapy, we talk about psychology, we talk about all of those, but coaching is a little newer. So I thought I would answer some questions today on this video. So let's talk about it. What is coaching? Coaching is a collaborative process between a client and a coach. And a client will reach out to a coach when they feel they are ready to create some kind of change in their life. And so a coach will help facilitate that change through one-on-one sessions. There's also group coaching as well. But a coach's role is to facilitate that change. Now, how this is different from therapy is that when you think about traditional talk therapy, where someone comes into an office and they lay down on the couch and they start talking about their problems or their issues or what's bothering them, that's, the classic talk therapy. How coaching differs is that the coach is very active in facilitating awareness within the session. So there will be a lot of reflection, there'll be a lot of open-ended questions, but the coach's role in that is an active role. It's a collaborative role. It's a lot of feedback. It's deep listening. So in a typical session, the client will set the agenda. What does the client want to talk about? The coach will kind of narrow that down a little bit because clients often have an idea of what they would like to change. However, it will be multiple things. For instance, if I ask a client what they would like to talk about for a particular session and we're in that session, they might say, well, I want to work on losing some weight because I've put on a few pounds since the pandemic. And that's because I think I've been eating too much sugar. So I need to stop eating sugar. In a way, maybe I can look at the gym down the street. They're brand new, they just opened. So I might want to get a membership there. And I'm not really sleeping well. So those are like 5 things that was just named. And that's typical during a session. So what a coach will do is narrow that down and get it nice and clear for that specific session. And they'll ask, what would you like to take away from this session today? And some other questions that will really narrow it down and get that agenda clear. Another big difference between coaching and therapy is that therapists can diagnose clients. They can also prescribe medication. And so coaches do not do that. They only work with the clients during sessions. Coaches do not diagnose any kind of mental illness or health problems, anything like that. Now, they can work with a therapist or they can work with a physician, a PCP, primary care physician, and any of the health team of that client. We can definitely work with them, but we do not diagnose anything. We're merely there to help the client change something within their life, a behavior, thought process, change their health, whatever that issue is. So a client could be diagnosed with diabetes or diagnosed with with high blood pressure, for instance. And so they could see a coach to change their behavior around their eating, around their choices, around their mindset, around any thoughts they might have, around any anxiety, things like that, is an example of how a coach could come into play and work with therapists and doctors. But coaches do not diagnose and they do not prescribe medication. They also do not give advice. And I know it sounds crazy, but coaches do not give advice. We only create awareness around what the client is telling us to reflect back what's going on. And even though that might sound simple, it's very powerful within a session, because a lot of times clients just need a sounding board and just need someone to listen very deeply, listen to what they're saying and what they're not saying, and to reflect that back. So that is a coach's role in a session. A coach also advocates for that client. So in working with their care team, in working with a physician or a therapist, we're going to advocate for that client and do what's in the best interest of that client, voice, their thoughts in talking with their care team. So that's what a coach does in a session and for a client. Number 2, what makes a good coach? I kind of talked about it a little bit in the last question, the first question about coaching, but a good coach is going to have great listening skills. And like I said, listening for things that the client is saying and is not saying. A coach will have a good feel and really look at body language and the energy that person is exhibiting at the time, and be able to reflect and create awareness for that client. Because really the client knows, all of us really we have the answers, right? And we know what to do, but sometimes we just need to talk it out. We need someone that's fully engaged with us, with the process, and will really help us work out whatever issues that we have. So a coach is going to be active in that way, and a great sounding board, active listening. And also, like I mentioned earlier, advocate for the client. Cheerleading, that's very important as well. And a good coach will help the client achieve that client's goal, right? And in a timely manner. Now, the time depends on that client, how much effort they're putting into their goal, both in the sessions and outside of the sessions. That's dependent upon the client. But the coach will go according to the client's pace and will help the client achieve that goal in a timely manner. So coaching is not about seeing someone for years and years and years. It's really a few months to kind of work through a situation in their lives. Now, if they finished that situation and accomplished goals and worked through that challenge, they can definitely work on another challenge in their life. But to see a coach ongoing for years and years is not really what it's for. Coaching is not for that. It's to work through certain situations in your life, bring balance, and then see what else you can work through. So a good coach will have great listening skills, create awareness within a session, will go at the client's pace of achieving their goal and working through the challenge, and will also have a healing presence with them. Okay, they'll hold space for the client, non-judgmental. They're not accusing the client of anything. So they'll really just hold a nice healing presence, have a nice healing presence for that client, unconditional and non-judgmental within the sessions as they work towards helping the client achieve their goal. So those are some things that make a good coach. Right. Number 3, how do you know you're ready for coaching? How does the client know that they're ready to reach out to a coach about a specific issue or challenge? So there are certain steps to change. Certain models would say that you have a pre-contemplation stage, then a contemplation stage, then preparation, then action, and then you're just maintenancing what you have already accomplished, right? So if you're in a pre-contemplation stage, that means that you might have an issue, might have a challenge. Other people notice it, but you really don't think you need to change, okay, for any reason. That's pre-contemplation. That's before you even are aware that there's a problem and you're just going about your business. However, it might be affecting other people. And then you'll slowly get some indicators from them. Then you'll move into the contemplation stage to where you do realize there's an issue or some improvement can be made in a specific area. And you're kind of contemplating that. And you're going back and forth to say, okay, well, what would be the benefit if I made this change? Or weighing the pros and cons. After that stage is the preparation stage. So you'll notice that, okay, the pros outweigh the cons. I would like to make this change. I need to make this change. This change is important to me. I'm going to prepare for this change. So somewhere in between the contemplation and the preparation, a client will reach out to a coach and say, hey, can you help me work through this challenge? And this is what it is. And so it happens somewhere between those stages, but it'll be where the client knows that a change is needed and would like to make that change. That's kind of the sweet spot. That's where progress will be made when someone knows that there's an issue and, they reach out to actually for guidance in working through that issue. So that's when a client would typically reach out to a coach for coaching, for help and coaching. Okay, number 4, how would one go about choosing a coach? Now, this is very personal because it goes on preference. And so just like you like certain people's personality and you don't like other people's personalities, it's the same thing. So it's choosing a coach that you mesh with well, that has that healing presence, deep listening, all of that, but you have a good vibe about them, right? You have a good feeling about them. Something resonates to you about them. Also, when you talk to them, usually coaches will give some kind of free consultation for a certain amount of time, and you'll get a feel for the coach. So that's one way. So you'll understand what that coach is about, and you two can talk and get on the same page and see if you all are a good match. That's one thing. Also, it depends on if credentialing is important to you. So I've coached clients before my formal training, and they were fine with that. Some clients are not. They would like for you to have completed your training, your certification, things like that. So it's really a personal choice. Also, a coach, and choosing a coach, check out their social media, just like how you would check out, a doctor or anything. Go online, do some research, look at their content, look at their blogs, look at their videos, look at their posts to see if they resonate with you. But, those are the things that they've talked about, and you can say, okay, I like him or her. She has addressed this challenge that I have, and I think that they can do the job, and I'll be happy with them, right? So those are some things to think about. One thing that I would suggest is to not have a coach that you know so well. So a best friend, a brother or a sister, a husband or a wife, that could work out, but really most of the time that doesn't work out because that coach knows you so well. That person knows you so well. They're going to call you out on your BS, and they're not going to have patience, okay? So they're going to know what's going on with you instantly, and it will allow the coach to jump to judgments, and it's just not a good thing. So you want a coach with a blank slate, no history, right? So that you're building the relationship together. And then that coach can learn you and you can learn the coach. What that coach needs to know will come out in the sessions organically. But having someone that already knows you so well, you have history, you have baggage. They'll hold things over your head like this is not going to be a good experience. And then you're not going to get the experience that you want. What kind of goals will you actually accomplish if you're fighting through sessions in that way? So that's the only thing I will guard against. But everything else is really a personal decision. It's what resonates with you from that coach. And do your due diligence with checking them out on social media. And someone with that healing presence, like I mentioned earlier. And you just want someone who you think you'll work well with. Okay, I do want to add this about finding a coach that's right for you. The first thing that is stressed in any of the helping fields, right? So any coaching, psychology, psychiatry, counseling, social work, what is stressed on is that actual coach, that therapist, that psychologist or psychiatrist, what is stressed is that they work on themselves. They work on healing themselves first before they try to facilitate any kind of healing sessions for anyone else. So you do want to look for someone who has done some of that work, right? If you go through their social media, you'll see what work they've done from, early on to their latest videos, right? Their posts, the content. You'll see, okay, this person has worked on certain things. I feel that this person has a good grasp of this. If you see that the coach that you're looking at or considering has not done that, like they might post a question or have an emotional post or video of the very question that you might have, then they might not be the right person for you and your challenge at this time. Maybe they have mastered another part of their life where they can offer support for clients. But when you're looking at what that coach can offer you with the specific challenge that you're going through now, that's a great indicator of if this coach will be able to help you and help you reach your goals and accomplish what you would like to accomplish and work through those barriers. So that's one more thing I wanted to add about finding a good coach. Make sure that they have, and even in speaking with them, you can ask them point blank, what things have you worked on in your life? How good is this area of your life? I am looking to accomplish this. Have you accomplished that? Right? So those are fair questions to ask and information to look for. Okay, so that goes with finding the right coach for you. And number 5, this is so important. Confidentiality. And that's kind of another reason that goes back to not having your friends and your family be your coach, right? Because that's not going to work out. They can, in your sessions, they can tell other friends and family, it's just too much room for error in that. But a good coach will definitely be confidential, will not spread your information, won't give your information in the instance where they're working with your care team, a physician or a therapist, or any of your care team. They will have to sign papers. You will have to okay the release of information if you want them to collaborate with the care team. So you want to make sure that coach is on it with the confidentiality and that they're talking to you and you both know what's going on. They're not going to give information behind your back. Even if someone does call and say, hey, I'm so-and-so's therapist, how is she doing? How is he doing? You're still not going to release any information until that formal conversation has been had by the coach and client, right? You signed HIPAA information and all of that. So that's a big one. Confidentiality between client and coach. There has to be a trust there to build that relationship. The more trust you have, the better the relationship, the better the sessions will be, the better the change, right? So that trust is built off of confidentiality as well. So that's number 5. Okay, and this is the last one, number 6. What are the benefits to coaching? So coaching, the biggest benefit to coaching is it helps you get unstuck, right, quickly. Like I mentioned earlier, no one's going to see a coach for years and years and years. So it's a quick process. So if you find yourself stuck in a situation, stuck in a mindset, stuck in a challenge, an obstacle, talking with a coach can really, really help quickly. It only takes a second to create awareness around something and to say, oh, that's what I've been doing. That's what I can change right now, right? So a coach can work with you very quickly on things to help you get unstuck. It's a quick process depending on the challenge, but it's not going to take years and years and years to work through a challenge. Also, coaching is very, very flexible. You can do it over the phone, you can do it in person, you can do it virtual. And now that's the way to go, right? And a coach, and this is dependent on the person. So some people are uncomfortable talking to a therapist, right? And they rather talk to someone, well, a coach. Now, this was my experience. I worked with an organization that had me to come in and work with their employees, right? And the first thing they said, we had like a meet and greet. And the first thing they said, they kind of peeked their head in the door in the room. And they said, are you a therapist? I said, no. I said, oh, okay, good. Let's go. Come on in, guys. Right? So some people just, they like a coach versus, and I know that's that stigma, right? And that's not to say that I treat people and I see people who need to be seeing a therapist, right? So a coach will definitely call it and say, hey, this is the scope of what I can do. And then outside of that, I can help you find a therapist, okay? And we can work together. But just to begin the process, just to see what's going on, just to get unstuck, just to work through a barrier, a lot of people feel comfortable with seeing a coach. That's another benefit. Another benefit would be that coaching is very, very flexible and can be applied to many different areas of our lives. So when we look at ourselves, we have so many aspects of our lives. We have career, we have family relationships, we have our physical health and wellness, we have self-care, we have education, we have career, we have all of these different things in our lives, and we're working on all these different things, and coaching can be applied to all of them. Coaches can help clients work through those different aspects and make sure that full, total life fulfillment is there. Guys, that's all about coaching, and most of them were pros, but I do want to add a con. This is a pet peeve of mine. One con about coaching is that we can't work with clients that I feel need the most help. So coaching is cash only, okay? We can't work with insurances. We can't work with Medicaid. We can't work with Medicare. And that's a shame because coaching can be very preventative. Very, very preventative. Like let's tackle this before it becomes too serious. This is with physical, this is with mindset, it's with thoughts, it's with behaviors. But we can't work with insurances. And I was very, very disheartened to find that out in my experiences because I want to help as many people as possible. And coaching is very helpful. And it's priced to reflect that, right? And a work that a coach does is very valuable. And not to say a coach can't work with people, with plans or scheduling and things like that. But we really want to get in there and help everyone, as many people as possible, to help bring that fulfillment, to help bring balance into their lives, to help facilitate change to everyone, right? Not just those who can afford cash, but to everyone. And so that's a little disheartening. I know it was for me, because once I found out I couldn't help the people I really wanted to help, not to say that other people that can afford it don't need the help, but I would like to help as many people as possible. And that's a lot of times it's people that don't have cash. And so I find myself, and a lot of coaches do this, but I found myself, volunteering my services and charging much less, just because I want to help as many people as possible. And that's a coach's prerogative, and that's their preference. But I know I've done that in the past. But that's one con. If we could help more people, I'm good. I am good. So that is all about coaching. That's all about coaching. Those are all the questions I think that a potential client would have. What is coaching all about? I know about therapy. I know about psychology. I know about social work. Where do you fit in? Okay, so that's our niche. That's where coaches come into play. And I think it's a very, very valuable place to be, right? But what matters is, do you think it's a very, very valuable place to be? And so I hope this video helped you think about it a little bit, and think about if you need coaching, if you would like to reach out for coaching, and how it can be beneficial for you, right? So if you like this video, I would love that you like this video, and that you subscribe to my channel, and that you share this video with someone who you think it would be helpful to, right? It would do so much for my channel, because I'm growing my YouTube channel. Do so much for that if you would like, share, and subscribe. And also comment. If I left something out, a question that you have, comment below and let me know what that question is, and I will definitely answer that question. Okay? So thank you for joining me today. Have a great and wonderful day. And I meant to say, I dare you to trust. See you next time. Bye-bye.